Have you ever finished a mix that seems properly balanced, but something still feels harsh, boxy, or uncomfortable, and you can identify exactly why? The problem may not be the overall frequency balance, but maybe just a few narrow resonances that we need to take care of. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how I find those resonances during mixing and how I decide which they need correction, and the most important thing, when I need to stop. So now we are at the DAW. The first thing you need to know about resonance hunting is that you never will perform a resonance hunting on the master bass itself. This is very risky, and it will actually change significantly the tonal balance of the whole material. What I suggest is that you're going to go deep down into identifying exactly where the resonances are coming from, the set of instruments or the basses of instruments that is coming from. The second thing is that what I'm going to teach you about resonance hunting is something that you can do for any music genre, EDM, rock, pop, anything, and any type of instrument that presents similar issues with resonances that will actually kill your mix. So the first thing you need to do before starting with doing anything at all at the DAW is listening to the whole piece and try to identify surgically where the resonances are coming from. This is an orchestral piece that I will demonstrate it because it's easier to diagnose where the resonances are coming from. And the first thing we're going to do is listen to the section that I have already identified some issues with. Let's hear that first. So if you listen carefully, you will see that from that orchestra bass that I was listening to, there are two sections. The one is the strings, the other ones are the woodwinds. And based on my experience, I can feel that there are some harsh frequencies that I'm hearing on the woodwind section, not on the strings. The strings are pretty much going into a smooth state, pretty much balanced, and we don't actually hear anything major they are popping up. But the woodwinds, specifically if you're talking about the mid-range or the high mids, we have two set of instruments that in this case will contribute to the resonance, which are the flutes and the oboes. So if we can hear exactly what the flutes and oboes are doing, so to go one level deeper, let's hear that. Okay, so you probably heard there are some sections that they don't sound nice, and specifically because there are some resonance that we need to take care of. So the best thing to do, as I said before, we're going to go deeper and we're going to apply resonance hunting specifically for those instruments. And let's start first with the flute itself. So I'm going to solo the flutes, and I'm going to install an equalizer, Pro Q in this case. And what I'm going to do is, because I already know that there's the resonance I'm hearing is something in the high mid range, I'm going to install some sort of a boost in that area, not very wide in Q, somehow wide, but not that much. And I'm going to exaggerate a little bit the boost in decibels so I can hear the resonance better. Let's see that I have here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the flutes, and I'm going to try to identify where exactly those resonances are so I can log them in. Let's hear that. Here is one. So we found one of them, and it's really annoying, and this is something we need to take care of because that's going to destroy the woodwind sections. And what I'm doing, once I've identified the frequency, the only thing I need to do is to go back to 0, and I have two options. The first option is to give it a dip on that section, very narrow, just to get rid of that. Or better even, we can actually use a dynamic equalization in order for when that resonance comes in, we are going to be able to capture without actually changing the tonal balance of the instrument. That's one of the advantages of using dynamic equalization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a dynamic equalizer in that particular range. And what I'm going to do is now put a very narrow Q, so we are affecting only that particular narrow frequency, and only in the sense of a few decibels only, just not to change so much the tonal balance. So now let's hear that again, and I will isolate that to make sure that we know exactly that we capture that resonance. Here it is. I'm making it very narrow, just not to affect the tonal quality of the flute, in this case. This is what we hear. This is the resonance that we're capturing, and we are not killing totally that frequency, but we are depleting a little bit so that the resonance is not so obvious. Okay, so that's one method of doing it. The other one would be just to drop an EQ with a dip instead of using dynamic equalization. You can choose that if you are willing to give up that particular frequency. For my particular case, dynamic equalization, it's a little bit more transparent to be using. So this is something that you need to take into account. Now, what I heard is that that's not the only resonance that I heard in the for the flute themselves. So let's go back and listen for more resonances. Again, I'm going to open another equalizer boost. Here it is. It's about 3400 hertz. 3100 hertz. That's the one. So I'm going. You see how harsh that is, and this is something that is going into the mix. So I'm going to put that back into 0 and use again another dynamic equalizer just to deplete the frequency without changing too much the tone of the instrument. Now let's hear that. We almost cannot hear the resonance at all, which is good. And the dynamic equalizer is actually depleting the frequency when it gets too loud, but only on that frequency. Look how narrow the Q is. So it doesn't affect that. Okay, so these are the two. Obviously, you can go and there's still things that are bothering you. You can go and try to do the sweep again with some other range. You need to be familiar with the frequencies that are causing the resonances. But again, this is exactly the same mechanism. You go one by one and you either deplete it totally by using minus dB on that particular frequency that you picked up, or using a dynamic equalizer, depending on how you want the sound of the instrument to be transparent or more aggressive. So this would be for the flute. Now we can do the same because I heard something that it's similar with the oboes. And let's hear that. See it again. Okay, that's kind of nasal type of frequency. The quality is not that good, and it will dominate pretty much the mid-range at that area. So what we're going to do is do something similar that we did for the flutes. We're going to open a Q, and we're going to try to sweep. Because it's a nasal type of sound, we probably are talking about between 900 and 1500 hertz. This is something that you should know about that, but we will check it here. Let's start with this. Here it is. You see how harsh that sound? And I'm going to narrow it a little bit more just to be more specific here. Narrow a little bit more. Here is the resonance. You probably heard that. Okay, this is something that we don't want in our mix. So again, I'm going back to 0. In this case, I will use a dynamic equalizer, not just to reduce or cut that frequency, and very narrow. And I'm going to use something very narrow here, just to capture that only. Let's hear that again. Here is acting. This is the frequency that we're catching. Probably need a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, so the sound is still there because it's part of the instrument, but it's not exaggerated. It's not something that bothers the overall tonal quality of the section. So this is another example on how you can do that. So now let's hear both the flutes and the oboes after treatment. you can hear is warmer and it's more pleasant to listen to. Now let's hear it without, as per the original. Hear the difference. So you hear how harsh that sounds and nasal, which is something that we need to avoid. And by just applying the equalizer on resonance hunting for these two particular instruments, we are basically focusing on the problem even before it gets into the master bass. So why can such a small EQ move make a noticeable difference? A resonance concentrates energy within a relatively narrow frequency area. Because that energy persists or repeatedly becomes prominent, our ears can perceive it as harshness, ringing, or boxiness, or even nasality, or simply an uncomfortable emphasis. During the mixing process, this becomes particularly important because we are processing the complete mix. A broad equalization adjustment intended to fix one narrow problem can change instruments that we already properly balance. So that's why narrow, carefully judged correction can sometimes be preferable to a much broader tonal change. So if appropriate, this is where you're going to distinguish two cases. The first one is if there is a static resonance, you're going to apply the static equalizer to address that. Versus if we have an intermittent material dependent resonance, then we're going to use the dynamic equalizer as I showed it here in the demonstration.